Now on Morning Drive, altitude adjustment. With players set to tee off today in round one of the WGC Mexico Championship, we have new details on how they're adjusting to Chapultepec Golf Club at nearly 8,000 feet above sea level.
We're going to decide something, we're going to hit a shot, and it's going to do something completely different to what we expected, and it's going to happen to everybody. You know, we just need some patience.
We'll go live to Mexico City. Legends of the game. Tom Lehman and Jerry Kelly, winners of 21 combined PGA Tour and PGA Tour Champions events, join us live to discuss feeling pressure, emotional reactions, and each other. And we've got an NFL star in studio as we welcome one of the game's best, who sometimes plays 36 holes a day during the NFL season. We'll find out how his swing holds up in our simulator. It's all on Morning Drive this Thursday, March 1st, 2018. Good morning, March 1st. Can you believe it? Pinch, punch. Do you ever do that? First of the month.
No, why'd you do that?
Pinch, punch, first of the month. It's a thing. You never done that?
No, I'm out of the loop.
Okay, I'll fill you in.
We don't have that in Kentucky.
PGA Tour winner Robert Damron, Bailey Mosier, and Matt Janella will be with us as well. Bailey and I are actually going to go play golf today to celebrate springtime. I won't pinch and punch her though, but it is exciting to be entering a new month, right?
I'm going to get to go play golf a little bit myself today.
There we go. We'll compare scores tomorrow. Yours will definitely be better than mine.
I doubt it.
Alrighty, let's get straight to what is happening now, Robert. Dustin Johnson headlines the field south of the border where he's attempting to defend his title at the WGC Mexico Championship.
Well, Dustin Johnson, we're keeping an eye on him this week because he is defending champ. But the last World Golf Championship he had to lead in, 6-shot lead, he blew it. So the Sunday stroke average is the only thing to watch, but he's clearly playing great. Keep an eye out for him, but Sunday's going to be the intriguing day.
Good point. That was in Singapore. Well, he'll be paired with Justin Thomas in the opening 2 rounds. He's looking to go back-to-back after winning his 8th PGA Tour title at the Honda Classic last week.
54-hole leader last year, clearly the best player in the world right now, 7 wins the last 2 seasons. Odds-on favorite this week, I have no doubt.
We're going to get to more of that later. And following his good play on the West Coast, Phil Mickelson returns to action, still searching, though, for his first win since 2013.
But will the real Phil Mickelson please stand up? Is this the T45 at Torrey or the miscut at Career Builders, or is this the T2 at Pebble guy? I don't know. I don't know yet.
Like what you did there. And a reminder of the WGC format, thanks to one of our writers, Will Gray, reminding us that there will be no cut this week, meaning last place in the 65-man field will still make $50,500. That's not bad. That's
not bad at all. That's chump change for a lot of those guys, but looks big to me.
Not for us.
No.
All right, well, let's welcome in one of our senior writers from GolfChannel.com. Rex Hoggard joins us live from Chapultepec Golf Club. Good morning, Rex.
Good morning, Kara.
One of the biggest storylines this week so far seems to be about the altitude change down there in Mexico. How are players adjusting to that elevation?
Well, you walk up and down this range, and I've never seen so many TrackMen in my entire career on one range at one time. As a matter of fact, I think it's going to be the most important club in the bag for most players. And it's interesting, depending on who you ask, they have different ways of playing this golf course. And the altitude that you talked about, almost 8,000 feet above sea level. Talked to Gary Woodland, for example. He said, look, it's just a straight 15% add pretty much to every club. He adjusts sometimes depending on if he's in the rough or not. But Justin Rose took a much different attitude. On Tuesday, he spent about an hour and a half on the range tracking every club with TrackMan, trying to figure out exactly how much further it's going here versus how far it goes at sea level. The bottom line is they're not exactly sure how far it goes because it changes depending on the shot. Another player, Kevin Kisner, talked to me about, look, if you have an uphill shot, the ball's not going to stay in the air as long. You have to adjust for that. Downhill, if it's a shorter club, it's not going to go quite as far. So it's really a guessing game for a lot of these players.
All right, Rex, thank you. Yeah, thank goodness for the TrackMan, right? We'll be back with you in just a moment. Robert, how would you deal with altitude change?
Well, first, you have to realize we're going to talk a little aerodynamics here. There's not as much lift in thinner air on the golf ball, kind of like an airplane. It doesn't get up quite as easily. So if you have to pay attention on the launch of your shot. You have to almost force it to get in the air because even though it's altitude, what you have to do is make sure it launches high to stay in. If you launch it low and expect it to climb a little, the way like a Daniel Berger does, you're going to be sorely mistaken. It's going to come in very flat into the green. It's going to land shorter than you expect, and take a lot of skips. It's going to be really hard to spin it enough to get it to climb in the thin air. So trajectory is very important.
Traj.
And
the higher it goes, the more it's going to feel the thinner air and therefore travel further, right?
It will travel further, and there's going to be that adjustment. And another thing about the adjustment of the percentage of how far it goes is it's completely arbitrary on the time of day. If it's a cool morning, which Mexico City may or may not be, it may be sea level play. And at 10 a.m., it might feel like 8%. And at 12 or 1 p.m., it might be as much as 12 or 15%. You have to be able to adapt on the fly and really just kind of get feels. It's a lot of guesswork and a lot of extra work with caddies this week.
So far, you've put traj and feels into this. I'm liking where we're going. But you're right, the caddies really have to be mathematicians this week.
They do a lot more work at altitude for a caddy.
Okay, and one more thing, physicality, right?
Physicality, fitness. You're at altitude. Why do boxers and real athletes, not golfers, train at altitude? Because it's tougher and your lung capacity is not as much. So when you come back, you feel better at sea level. You've got to be pretty fit there to walk all those, and not that you're going to stumble or have to sit down, but mentally, if you're a little more sleepy late and you're huffing and puffing, you're not going to be as sharp late in the day.
Maybe you should go to one of those altitude chambers in preparation.
That's the thing, that would be a start for me. I got a long
Maybe not
way
typical
to go.
preparation for a professional golfer. Anyway, let's welcome back in Rex and turn our attention now, Rex, to Jordan Spieth, who at one stage, it was reported, was considering not actually playing this week. What changed his mind in going to Mexico?
Yeah, as late as 2 weeks ago, Cara, when we talked to him about it in LA, he was still on the fence whether he would come down here and play this event. I had a chance to talk with Jordan yesterday, and he said he really just wanted to go through his schedule and do whatever he could to get ready for the Masters, whatever that meant, whatever tournaments that meant. And at the last minute, he said he decided that, look, this is probably pretty good preparation going forward. Again, yesterday, he talked a lot about those elevation changes. He talked a lot about traj, as you guys just pointed out. He feels like he's very comfortable right now with his distance control. Chipping and putting has not been his best so far this season, but he said he's very comfortable on these greens. Now, it was interesting yesterday during that round. Last two holes, he played with Lorena Ochoa. She's considered Mexico's greatest golfer ever. It was really a neat atmosphere, those two talking. The one thing I took from the conversation was Jordan really wanted to ask her a lot of questions. He said, I couldn't get any in. She was asking me questions about how I looked at certain putts or how I prepared for tournaments. So between two top athletes, it was a wonderful exchange.
Yeah, he said it was truly an honor to play with her. And Lorena herself admitting she was pretty excited to tee it up with the world number 4. That was cool to see, Rex. All right, thank you. We'll check in with you again just at the top of the hour. So Jordan Spieth, Robert, enters this week having dropped out of the top 160 for strokes gained putting. Those are not statistics you would normally put in the same sentence as Jordan Spieth. How do you think he can turn that around this week? 160. That is a lot considering he was easily the best putter on the planet for years. He needs to make these putts this week badly. I think that we all understand as golfers, there's ups and downs. We all going to have our highs and lows, and there's a point when you say, I'm just on a low stretch, it's okay, and then there gets to be a point when you miss enough putts where you say, wait a minute, something's really wrong and I need to fix this. This is a very tough putt, or tough course to make those short putts on. He needs to start making them I think sooner than later, so he doesn't get in that mindset that something's wrong and I need to maybe make an adjustment or a change. I think hopefully some simple fundamental key this week, just something simple, not an overall haul, fundamental, simple, will cause a few more putts to go in, and he can kind of build off that going forward. It's amazing that the shorter putts seem to be the ones that are troubling him the most, but we won't have to wait long to find out because live coverage does begin today. But let's switch gears now and turn our attention to what happened in the first round of the HSBC Women's World Championship on the LPGA Tour. Michelle Wie, look at this, was sinking some putts. This came in from some distance. And she uses different putting styles for each putt, doesn't she? She still mixes it up a little bit, but that one worked. Well, she led after the opening round here a year ago, and after 7 birdies in Singapore earlier today, Weezy is now just 2 shots back of the lead and a tie for second through the first 18 holes. Fellow American Jennifer Song leads after a bogey-free 65 got her to 7 under par as she searches for her first win on the LPGA Tour. Now, she's not actually on this list, but Danielle Kang is part of that tie for 4th. Interestingly, she posted a bogey-free 68, the American, despite breaking her tooth earlier this morning. Not a good start for Lexi Thompson, though. 3 over par 75. Now that we've got all that covered, let's say good morning to Bailey and Matt.
Good morning, Cara. Yes, and good morning, everyone at home. Danielle King, she said she broke her tooth while stretching, actually. She fell asleep.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Right? Yeah, it happens to the best of us and the worst of us, right? So more on that later. We have some social media, though, for you right now, getting you set for this Thursday morning. This, hosted by the European Tour, 140 days until the Open. Carnoustie is under snow, Matt.
This would be why they're not moving the Open to March.
Correct. With the schedule changes, yes, that's very smart. They would keep it in July, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah. Looks cold. Would you play in that?
Yes. Yeah, I'd play Carnoustie any day. I don't care. You see the pins are still in.
Good point.
So,
they were.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Well, it is tee sheet time, and Matt's going to help me out. So first up, though, if you live somewhere like that where it's cold in the winter, the good news is today is March 1st. We're marching towards springtime and warmer weather. We're going to help you with your putting today, help you shake off the rust. A Golf Tech leading coach is here to help with your putting, and he's bringing poker chips to help you do so.
Yeah, of course, yes. Poker chips. And March makes me long for my annual buddies trip to Vegas the first week of March Madness. But on today's show, I'm talking about peak season in Arizona, providing details of where I stayed and played last weekend.
Definitely want to hear that segment. Well, speaking of Arizona, we have an NFL star who plays for the Cardinals. He's joining us live to talk about his adoration of golf. So this man, he's made it to the Pro Bowl every single season that he's been in the NFL, and perhaps even more impressive, he's been known to play 36 holes a day during football season.
I can't wait.
During the season, 36 a day.
Yeah.
Wow.
I might have seen him in the green room, by the way.
Oh, I wonder who it is. You're going to have to stick around to find out, aren't you?
That's a tease.
It isn't it, though?
You know who we've got here?
I do. Pro Bowl.
Are you going to tell them?
Or is it a Pro Bowl?
I think he covers the ball well.
Now we're all.
You're going to be in the simulator, but you're going to get it first.